Welcome to Beehive Federal Credit Union. We want to welcome everyone that's here in person and those that are viewing it via technology. We want to thank you for being here tonight for our annual business meeting. This is the 63rd annual business meeting for Beehive Credit Union. Earlier, we've had to acknowledge that Craig Colby has said our invocation. I now call to order the annual business meeting of Beehive Federal Credit Union. We have previously appointed Matt Nielsen, a Beehive member and a member of our supervisory committee, to be parliamentarian for tonight's session. We would now ask Bonnie Peterson to come up and assert that we do have a quorum.
I ascertain that we have a quorum present.
Thank you. Bonnie is our board secretary. Everyone should have a copy of the minutes associated that are here. And if we'd like to now ask for approval of last year's 2023 annual meeting minutes. When you do make a motion or a second, please state your name first so that we can enter those into the record. Do we have a motion to approve our 2023 board minutes?
Idaho Falls would like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Daryl. Daryl Fouts makes a motion to approve the 2023 minutes. Is there a second?
Josh Fulmer, I second the motion.
Josh Fulmer with a second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We will have our opportunity now to hear from our annual board reports. First, we will hear from Kurt Gifford. We'll have our treasurer report. Following Kurt, Matt Nelson will offer the supervisory committee report. Following Matt, I will give the board report. And then following myself, we'll ask Craig Gummel, the president CEO, to give the president's report. Kurt is our treasurer, and he will now give his report.
Thank you for your membership in Beehive Federal Credit Union. Here are a few highlights of our success in 2023. 2023 was a year of steady growth for Beehive Federal Credit Union. Assets grew by $43.7 million to $598 million, representing an annual growth rate of 7.9%. Loans to members increased by $60.5 million, an annual increase of 15.04%. I'm also pleased to report that member deposits increased by $6.3 million, or 1.35%, in a year of extraordinary competition for new deposits among financial institutions. These figures are indicative of the ongoing support and trust that our members have in us and the value they see in membership. Beehive ended the year with a net worth ratio of 8.08%. Net worth is one of the best measures of credit union safety, and a credit union with a net worth ratio greater than 7% is considered well capitalized. It is noteworthy that Beehive has held a net worth ratio above 7% for the last 19 years. Our return on assets in 2023 was 0.43%, which added $2.5 million to our net worth safety net. Another measure of credit union safety is the percentage of charge-offs to loans. I'm pleased to report that Beehive's charge-off ratio for this past year was 0.03%, which is significantly lower than the average charge-off ratio of 0.37% for our peer institutions. 655 new members joined the Beehive family in 2023, representing a 1.96% increase. We have enjoyed average member growth of 4.79% over the last 10 years. Services per member also increased to 4.23 in 2023, the highest level in the history of Beehive. To better support our growing membership and expanding services, Beehive began construction on the North Rexburg branch in 2023. That branch is now open and ready to serve you. Thank you for your ongoing confidence and support.
All right, good evening. The following is the Beehive Federal Credit Union Supervisory Committee Annual Report. The Supervisory Committee oversees the annual audits and exam to ensure compliance is adhered to with the governing laws, regulations, and policies established by the Board of Directors and the National Credit Administration, or NCUA. The committee's highest priority is to ensure members' assets are protected and safe through these audits. With the help of our accounting department and the independent auditor, we also perform regular internal audits and testing to review procedures regarding day-to-day activities, with a verbal report of the results presented to the board. The NCUA exam is conducted annually as well as an audit. The staff and management work closely with the NCUA examiners and auditors who perform functions. Issues identified in these reviews are resolved as timely as possible and help shape the policies and procedures of the credit union. We've contracted with the CPA firm of Rudd & Company for our annual financial audit. The audit is underway now and will be completed for the months of September 2022 to December 2022 and the calendar year of 2023. With the growth of assets in the credit union being over $500 million, we have transitioned to a much more comprehensive financial audit that will be done based on a calendar year moving forward. Committee members, the independent auditor, Beehive staff, and management will work closely with examiners and auditors to finalize the reviews and address any findings or issues that may be found with that audit. We, the Supervisory Committee, appreciate your continued confidence in our oversight role. We also appreciate the support and cooperation we receive from the Board of Directors, management, our independent auditor, and Beehive staff, and it's our privilege to serve you. We're happy to conclude by stating we are confident that adequate controls are in place and the operations are sound. Committee members Josh Holt, Chair, myself, Matt Nielsen, Blake Johnson, Robin Dunlop, and Keith Scholes.
Thank you. As noted, we're doing okay, but 2023 was also a very challenging year for us because of the uncertainty of the economic conditions that we've had, the high interest rates that was plaguing not only us as members, but all the other financial institutions as well, going under the same financial storm. If I was to characterize the current state of Beehive Credit Union, I would say that we are healthy, but we are also in a state of safe caution. We are actively monitoring and adapting to the current economic situation, and we want you to be assured that we will continue to be anchored in responsible, conservative growth in all of our financial decisions. Last week, we had our grand opening and ribbon cutting for the Rexburg North branch. This brings us to 6 physical total branches plus 1 online branch for a total of 7 branches. We've come a long way since our little room in 1960 at Riggs College. Our asset value at the end of February is $605 million. It is still growing, but we have slowed it down to avoid the same troubles that the other financial institutions are now facing and experiencing. Our membership is currently at 33,000 members. We want to thank every member for your commitment and trust in Beehive with all your financial needs. Now, Beehive offers several services available to all of our members. We want you to be aware of those, as well as we want you to take advantage of them. Just to mention a few, we have investments in our 401k. We have Zelle, local discounts, business loans, business checking, missionary savings, student savings, video banking, mortgage and auto loans, debit, credit cards, credit card rewards, and our local discounts that are all over are in each of our branch areas geographically: Meridian, Rigby, Rexburg, and Idaho Falls for local merchants for using just our debit card. We are continuing to look for ways to improve our services and add more, and we want you to take advantage of those. So we encourage the members to look at the services that they may need. Our core competency and the Beehive brand is the service you receive when interacting with our employees. We want to thank our dedicated employees for this great service. It is not only what they do for our members, more importantly, it's how they do it. And we thank them again for what they do. Our number one concern in whatever we do is we want to keep in mind how it affects every member, what other financial decisions we make. We encourage you and your family to continue to let Beehive be your choice for all your financial needs. Thank you.
Good evening. It's a privilege to say a few words at this year's Beehive Federal Credit Union annual meeting and represent the employees of the credit union. A year ago, this meeting occurred within 6 days of the second and third largest bank failures in this country's history. And as mentioned, 2023 was a challenging year. However, I'm pleased and would like to repeat what Director Kurt Gifford said, and that is that Beehive was able to maintain a well-capitalized status with our regulator NCUA for both a net worth and a risk-based calculation. This favorable position allows Beehive to provide sound and affordable financial products and services. And speaking on behalf of all employees, we enjoy the ability to serve our members and advocate for their financial health and interests. This year, I see another challenge creeping into the credit union space, adding another layer of difficulty to serving members in the way we desire. It is the threat of overreach from government and regulatory bodies. Since the creation of credit unions over 110 years ago, and then with the passage of the Federal Credit Union Act in 1934, credit unions have engaged their elected leaders on issues related to the ability of a group of citizens to collaborate, bond together, and provide financial products and services to each other. These discussions about rules and statutes have ebbed and flowed with times of great impact and significance, while other times have been very calm. Today, the credit union movement is facing its most serious legislative and regulatory threats in 15 years. While I'd like to address each legislative and regulatory issue specifically, there'd be too many to do tonight. I will just touch on one from each area and the most recent one that's been in the news. On the legislative slide, Senator Durbin from Illinois is back with a second bill similar to an effort he shepherded into law in 2009. This bill, like its failed predecessor, believes the government should get involved in the exchange of funds that takes place during a credit card or debit card transaction. And while it makes for great sound bites for our social media hyped world, every independent study reveals Durbin 1.0 did not deliver on any of the promises he said would materialize. Yet Senator Durbin is back with version 2.0 with the same promises. This bill, like its forerunner, does not have enough merit to stand on its own, leaving Senator Durbin to look for a second opportunity to attach his pet project to another piece of legislation. In the end, if passed into law, this amendment will enrich big box stores like Walmart with millions of dollars while decreasing security and card networks, leading to further fraud exposure for American consumers. It will also shake up the market pricing structure, and history continues to teach us the costs of these types of ideas will be more easily borne by the largest financial institutions, and the smaller hometown financial institutions will be disadvantaged. On the regulatory side, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is exercising its czar-like ability to release a waterfall of regulations, heavy in ideology and light in logic. And while the CFPB structure is still under question of being constitutional, they continue to push ahead without accountability. The recently rushed announcement of an $8 cap on credit card late fees met the deadline to be highlighted in the State of the Union address 2 weeks ago tonight, adding another log on the fire of partisan talk and fuel for the idea that every fee is a quote-unquote junk fee. What the CFPB left out was why they would force regulation that reduces consumer motivation to pay their debts on time, or reduce consumer motivation to maintain a good credit score. They would answer it is to protect helpless Americans. And yet, by changing the equation where costs cover risk, creditors will abandon taking on that risk, meaning Americans of modest means, low income, or financially vulnerable Americans will lose access to credit. Lose access to a structured credit environment that falls under a myriad of regulations designed to be fair and where disclosures are designed to inform the consumer clearly and conspicuously. While the CFPB naively cheers on their latest efforts, financially vulnerable Americans will be pushed out of a system protection to be preyed on by payday lenders and unscrupulous entities. I'm reminded of a visit to a top floor conference room in Washington, D.C. some years ago, where a half dozen CFPB representatives sat down with a group of Idahoans to discuss financial regulation. During the conversation, a CFPB rep mentioned an idea, to which I responded that federal credit unions have an interest rate cap of 18%. This was a shock to this individual, who turned to his CFPB colleagues and asked if anyone knew that. Their collective response was that none of them were aware of the current law, and they would have to check into it. It concerned me then, and it concerns me today. The CFPB has no shortage of special interest ideas ready to win a cultural war, yet they're short on understanding how current laws shape and affect and direct today's market. Shane Berger, previous CEO here at Beehive, said it best: credit unions are the original consumer financial protection bureau. Independent studies show consumers receive better rates and lower fees, and not just for credit union members, but consumers of other financial entities receive better products and service terms when credit unions are in the market competing against them head to head. This is why credit unions should be empowered to use its unique structure to assist in the financial market and not be vilified for political gain. There have been times in the past when Beehive called on its member owners to raise their voice on behalf of credit unions. Those times might return if the current administration and CFPB continues to whittle away the ability of Beehive to fulfill its mission in protecting and enhancing the financial lives of its members. I ask credit union members to be willing to engage with us, like in times past, if a call to action were to arise. In the meantime, please know that the credit union staff and board of directors is engaged in advocating for your interests as a member owner in Beehive Federal Credit Union. In the end, Beehive is committed to this great cooperative movement we call credit unions, where a philosophy of service leads out. The credit union exists to provide the most affordable financial products and services, and in the most personable and friendly way. We look forward to serving you and your family and your friends. We enjoy this opportunity each day, and thank you for your membership at Beehive. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Craig. The Board of Directors of Beehive Credit Union has no unfinished business at this time. Do any members have any unfinished business that we need to take place? Seeing none, the Board of Directors have no new business to conduct at the annual meeting. Are there any members that have to introduce new business? Seeing none, we'll go forward. We'll ask Matt Nelson now to come up from the Supervisory Committee and announce the results of the election.
This year we had 3 open seats, but 4 individuals running. And the results were the election were as follows. Elected were the following individuals: Brent Bean, Daryl Fouts, and Beth Hendricks.
Thank you, Matt. I would like to entertain a motion to destroy all the ballots, both physical, paper, as well as electronic.
Brent Bean, I make a motion that all ballots be destroyed from the election.
Thank you. Brent Bean with the motion. Is there a second?
Kurt Gifford, I second the motion.
Kurt Gifford with a second. Thank you, Kurt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All the business reports and activities of the 63rd annual meeting have been completed. I would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Bonnie Peterson, a motion to adjourn.
Bonnie Peterson with a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Gary Isaacs with a second.
Gary Isaacs with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, this concludes our meeting, and we thank everyone for being here, especially the members of the Beehive, and we hope that you have a very successful year. Thank you.